The scholarship student I sponsored claimed my dead wife got him pregnant. Chapter 1. At my birthday party, the student I'd been sponsoring burst in, waving an ultrasound photo with shocking arrogance. Victoria is pregnant with my baby. You better divorce her right now. I stood there, stunned, pointing at the ultrasound. Are you sure Victoria Whitmore is the one who's pregnant? Tyler Hayes proudly brandished the ultrasound. Of course. We conceived this baby during our cruise last month. His words left me and every guest at the party speechless. Because my ex-wife Victoria Whitmore had been dead for 3 years. I stared at Tyler in bewilderment, confirming once more, do you really know who Victoria Whitmore is? Tyler clutched the ultrasound, his expression dripping with arrogance. Stop stalling, Marcus. Divorce Victoria now and give up your position as her husband. Otherwise, you'll only embarrass yourself more. Today's Tyler, dressed in an expensive suit with a carefully styled haircut, was a completely different person from the skinny, timid boy I'd met 8 years ago. Though I was deeply irritated by his provocative tone, I still held onto a sliver of hope for him. Tyler, stop joking around. It's my birthday, have some cake first. Tyler shoved away the cake I offered, slamming his hand on the table. Forget the damn cake. Are you divorcing her or not? If you don't blame me for taking other measures. His extended finger nearly poked my eye. Seeing this, my girlfriend immediately pulled me back a step, sharply warning Tyler, don't touch Marcus. With everyone staring and whispering, my embarrassment as the birthday boy deepened. Tyler, if you keep this up, I'll stop all financial support for you and your family tomorrow. When I decided to sponsor Tyler years ago, he wore clothes scavenged from dumpsters, his nails black with grime, cockroaches literally crawling from his hair. Learning that both his parents were bedridden and he was supporting his younger brother while studying and collecting trash, I was deeply moved. Tyler, I'll sponsor you through college and help support your family, improving their lives. From then on, I sent Tyler $2,000 every month without fail. During holidays, I'd send extra gifts and bonuses. But this boy who'd received such enormous help from me now sneered with disdain. You think I care about your pathetic sponsorship? He leaned in, patting my face. Get this straight, I got Victoria pregnant. He showed off his designer shoes and flashed the diamond watch on his wrist. Victoria promised that once she has our son, she'll not only buy me a mansion but bring my whole family to live in luxury. Your measly $2,000 a month. Save it for your own funeral. He laughed mockingly, then grabbed a champagne bottle and smashed it into my birthday cake. The 4-tier cake my friends had custom ordered was instantly destroyed. Tyler's outrageous behavior caused an uproar. You're a sponsored student betraying your benefactor, have you no shame? Not only ungrateful but selling yourself for money, you're disgusting. But their criticism only earned his contemptuous eye rolls. You think Marcus is some saint? You're all fooled by him. Tyler spoke with righteous indignation. As if revealing some shocking truth. Marcus uses Victoria's money to build his image. He never spent a cent, taking all the credit. He packages himself as a good person to guilt-trip Victoria into staying married. Tyler grew more agitated as he spoke, as if fighting for Victoria's justice. Victoria pays for him, funds his charity work, and he won't even let her have children. He's the most vicious, immoral person. Everything I've done is to save Victoria. Tyler painted himself as a righteous hero with complete conviction. But everyone still expressed disgust at his behavior. Are you insane? Not only spreading lies but being a homewrecker. Tyler was clearly triggered by this. He threw a glass at the speaker, cursing, homewrecker? This is gratitude. When I learned Victoria was my true benefactor, I repaid her with my young, strong body. Everyone was stunned by Tyler's shamelessness. Before I could explain, Tyler noticed Sarah Chen, who'd been holding my hand. His eyes lit up, as if discovering a scandalous secret. Well, Marcus. Not only do you use Victoria's money for your image, you're keeping a mistress too. Sarah frowned in displeasure. Watch your mouth. I'm Marcus's legitimate girlfriend. Tyler laughed mockingly. He pointed at Sarah sarcastically. Marcus is an infertile old man. How could he get a young, beautiful girlfriend like you? Stop lying. You're obviously his sugar baby. Tyler gleefully pulled out his phone, snapping photos of Sarah and me. If you won't divorce voluntarily, I'll expose your affair. Then you'll not only leave with nothing but owe Victoria money. Looking at my ruined birthday party, I felt helpless. Perhaps Tyler had cracked under academic pressure and gone a bit crazy. I didn't argue with Tyler, instead calmly patting his shoulder. Tyler, calm down and listen to me. You're mistaken. I've always been your true sponsor. All the money you received came from me. I exchanged glances with my girlfriend, finding it somewhat absurd. Because Victoria Whitmore died in an avalanche 3 years ago. I personally. Tyler didn't let me finish, jumping up and screaming. Marcus, are you insane? Spreading rumors that your wife is dead? Have you no conscience? I'd originally held back out of consideration for the boy I'd watched grow up, seeing no need for violence. But with him ruining my birthday like this, even if I could tolerate it, Sarah couldn't. She held me tightly, warning Tyler, leave now, or I'll have security throw you out. Tyler turned to Sarah with a triumphant look. Marcus is so bold with his mistress. You're finished. Tomorrow I'll have the Whitmore family throw you out on the street. At this point, besides thinking Tyler had truly lost it, I felt a twinge of pity for him. Regardless of whose ultrasound he held, I felt obligated to make him face reality. Since you insist, why don't you come with me to see Victoria? Then you'll know I'm not lying. Tyler followed eagerly, still boasting, when you see my Victoria, you'll know how much she loves me. I looked at him with sympathy, asking my girlfriend to arrange transportation. Soon, 2 luxury sedans pulled up at the hotel entrance. Many guests, eager to see the drama unfold, followed in their own cars. When we stopped, I had the driver ask Tyler to exit. Tyler removed his sunglasses, saw where we were, and shouted angrily. "Marcus, you brought me to a cemetery? What's your game? Don't worry, just follow me." I calmed Tyler, guiding him forward a few steps until we stopped at a gravestone. "Look carefully. Whose grave is this?" Tyler barely glanced at the inscription before laughing. "Marcus, I admit you're committed, even faking a gravestone to avoid divorce. But I'm telling you, it won't work. No matter how much you claim Victoria is dead, you can't deny. She's carrying my child." Tyler seemed at the end of his patience, giving me an ultimatum. "Divorce her voluntarily now, and I might convince Victoria to leave you a few thousand. Keep fighting me, and you'll regret it." Even my usually composed girlfriend was amused by Tyler's behavior. She pulled out her phone, shining the flashlight on the gravestone. "Tyler, look carefully at the photo. Is this the Victoria Whitmore you spent Valentine's Day with?" Tyler stared at the photo on the gravestone. After a few seconds of silence, he pointed at me, shouting, "Marcus, you're heartless. To keep up this act, you put your wife's photo on a gravestone." Seeing his stubborn refusal to accept reality, still causing a scene in this peaceful cemetery, my friends couldn't hold back anymore. "Kid, are you having a psychotic break? Marcus's wife really died 3 years ago. Look up the news about the ski resort avalanche that killed a tourist 3 years ago." I watched Tyler's shocked and angry expression, suddenly suspecting he'd been deceived. "Does the Victoria you know love skiing?" Tyler nodded suspiciously, "Of course. Victoria taught me to ski personally." I told Tyler seriously, 3 years ago, she went skiing at an international resort and encountered extreme weather and an avalanche. She was buried in snow. Search teams looked for a week without finding her body, so they declared her dead, presuming her body was swept off a cliff. I pulled out my phone, showing photos from her funeral. Victoria's parents were prominently featured in the photos. Her parents accepted this. They personally chose this cemetery and gravestone. Her death certificate was issued, so whoever you've been with claiming to be Victoria, it can't be her. Tyler's expression went from confused to shocked, then angry under everyone's mocking gaze. "Marcus, stop lying. I just texted Victoria from the car. She's coming to divorce you right now." Sarah had completely lost patience by now. She took my hand, comforting me, "He's just mentally ill. Don't waste time on him. Let's go celebrate your birthday properly." Tyler kept taking photos of Sarah and me, threatening to expose my affair. Just as I was turning to leave with my girlfriend, Tyler suddenly jumped up, waving toward the cemetery entrance. "Victoria, you're here. I knew you'd come help me." Chapter 2. Everyone followed his shout toward the cemetery entrance. The woman hurrying toward us froze the moment she saw me. After a brief pause, she rushed forward and threw her arms around me. "Honey. It's not what Tyler said. Let me explain." Sarah immediately reacted. Without thinking, she pulled the woman away and slapped her across the face. "Don't touch my boyfriend." The woman stumbled back 2 steps, barely managing to stay upright. When she raised her head, wiping blood from her mouth, everyone who knew Victoria was stunned. How do you look exactly like Victoria?" My jaw dropped in shock. Amid the collective astonishment, only Tyler laughed more wildly. He cleared his throat and went to wrap his arm around Victoria's waist. "They said you were dead. I defended you and they bullied me. Wife, say something." But this woman only patted Tyler dismissively, her expression serious and cold. "Be quiet for now." Despite his displeasure, Tyler obediently stood aside. The woman straightened her clothes and approached me with a smile. "Marcus, long time no see." Seeing this woman's meaningful yet sleazy smile, Sarah quickly stepped between us, completely blocking any interaction. "Who exactly are you?" She glared at this woman warily, which provoked the other's annoyance. The woman frowned, glaring back at Sarah with equal hostility. "Who are you? What's your relationship with Marcus?" "I'm Marcus's girlfriend of a year and a half." Sarah stood tall, proudly declaring her status. The woman suddenly looked flustered. She looked past Sarah, staring directly at me. "Marcus, is she really your girlfriend?" But I found everything happening utterly bizarre. This woman who suddenly appeared looking like Victoria was bizarre, and the tension between her and Sarah was even more absurd. After all, I had no relationship with this woman. What was Sarah even jealous about? After thinking, I took Sarah's hand, standing beside her while warily questioning this woman. "Are you Victoria's lost sister? Why do you look exactly like her? What's your game pretending to be my deceased wife?" Then I looked at Tyler with sympathy. "I can tell you definitively this isn't Victoria. You've been scammed. I believe you now. You should go to the hospital to check whose baby this really is, and get tested for STDs while you're at it." Of course, I was just suggesting I wouldn't give him another cent. My sponsorship of Tyler and his family ended here. Moreover, I told Tyler, "Given your deception and insults, I'll be taking you to court to recover all the money I've given you over the years. Prepare for litigation." Yet Tyler still wasn't worried. But instead of his previous arrogance, he adopted a pitiful expression, complaining to the Victoria lookalike. "Wife, look how evil this man is. You paid for everything to sponsor me, yet he's here acting all high and mighty." He frowned, pretending to care about Victoria, even pointing at the gravestone. He even faked your gravestone, claiming you're dead, just so he could cheat legitimately. Look at this mistressed proof of his affair. He's spending your money on other women. Sue him quickly, make him return everything before divorcing him. The woman's face grew increasingly embarrassed. But Tyler continued his monologue, ordering me around. See, Victoria doesn't consider you her husband anymore. Fighting me is just humiliating yourself. Everyone here today can testify to your affair. You want to sue me? I'll have Victoria sue you into bankruptcy first. Everyone was used to Tyler's craziness by now. So all attention focused on Victoria. Friends who knew Victoria well crowded forward, examining her closely. These features are identical to Victoria's. Could this really be Victoria herself? But I attended Victoria's funeral. The police confirmed Victoria couldn't have survived that avalanche. What's going on? Did Victoria fake her death? Tyler couldn't stand hearing this. Stop talking about death. My wife is alive and well right here. If you don't believe it, look at my wife's passport. She's the same Victoria Whitmore who's been sponsoring me for years. Tyler showed no boundaries with Victoria, even reaching to search her clothes for her passport. To prove she was the real Victoria. Seeing Victoria frantically push Tyler away, I suddenly suspected. Did you not actually die? My hypothesis shocked everyone again. Sarah gripped my hand even more protectively. Victoria saw our tightly clasped hands, her eyes immediately reddening. Marcus, you found a new girlfriend so quickly? How could you do this to me? Hearing this from Victoria, I found it laughable. I laughed coldly, increasingly certain of my suspicion. Since you can't explain what's going on, I'll contact your parents now. After all, when you died in that accident, they cried their eyes out. Your father even fell seriously ill. There. The ones who most want to see you alive. I'll call them now. Tyler heard this and laughed at my naivety. Marcus, are you stupid? Victoria's parents are living happily. She took me to meet them during New Year's, promising to give the Whitmore family a son. My future in-laws even gave me red envelopes. Tyler looked at me like I was an idiot, spilling everything. As if in his eyes, I was the crazy one with delusions. And now, my sympathy for Tyler had completely vanished, replaced only by anger at Victoria's deception. Looking at Victoria's guilty, embarrassed expression, I began to believe. This was indeed my ex-wife who'd supposedly died in an accident. Sarah realized I was angry. She questioned Victoria on my behalf, so you faked your death, and your parents were in on the act? Taking advantage of our friend's presence and their recording phones, Sarah threatened. Such an absurd story would surely interest TV stations. Since you won't explain, I'll let skilled netizens and reporters investigate. Sarah immediately called her friend at the TV station. Victoria looked anxious but remained hostile toward Sarah. This is between Marcus and Mayo have no right to interfere. With that, she caught Sarah off guard. And dragged me to a quiet corner. Tyler, left behind, tried to follow but was irritably dismissed by Victoria. Get lost. This mess is all your self-righteous fault. I'll deal with you later. Sarah anxiously tried to follow and confront Victoria, full of protective possessiveness over me. I told Sarah, don't worry, we won't go far. Let me talk to her. If there's any problem, I'll call for help immediately. My gentle reassurance earned Sarah's trust. Victoria glared at us through gritted teeth but had to follow my lead, not going far. I shook off her hand. Are you really Victoria? The Victoria Whitmore I married? Victoria's eyes reddened as she questioned back, how long have you known that woman? When did you get together? I just coldly told Victoria, until you explain everything clearly, I won't answer any of your questions. Of course, if you won't tell me the whole truth, I'll accept Sarah's suggestion and let the police and media investigate. After all, when Victoria died, she was the CEO of a listed company. The news had been sensational. Her resurrection would surely be headline material. Seeing my cold expression, Victoria could only glare resentfully at Tyler in the distance before explaining. The avalanche was indeed faked, but I had no choice. She put on a pitiful act, trying to make me understand. Actually, the company was failing then. I owed huge debts I couldn't repay. To protect you and my parents from involvement, I had to fake my death, letting the company go into bankruptcy so creditors wouldn't come after you. After faking my death, I lived in hiding. It was hard, but I did it all to protect you. When Victoria had her avalanche accident, I was devastated, having to comfort her parents while handling all her affairs alone. I even gave up any inheritance, leaving everything to her parents. I vaguely remembered rumors about Victoria embezzling company funds and leaving a mess behind. But since she was dead and I'd given up inheritance rights, I never knew the details. Now, knowing Victoria had deceived the world, I was skeptical of her claims. Your parents clearly knew the truth. They were all acting with you. Though they seemed heartbroken whenever I visited, I know they lived quite comfortably. Thinking of Tyler's head-to-toe designer brands, I immediately exposed Victoria's lie. I think you embezzled all the shareholders' money, wanting to keep that fortune for yourself, so you faked your death to leave the mess for the shareholders. Victoria's face flushed as she changed the subject. That's not important. What matters is I didn't let anything affect you, right? I'd once felt regret over Victoria's sudden death. Though I'd bravely accepted Sarah, Victoria still held a place in my heart. But Victoria's reappearance today and 3 years of lies completely severed any lingering feelings. Thinking how she'd seduced my sponsored student, had his child, and conspired with her parents to deceive me for 3 years. Looking at this face, I felt only deep disgust. Victoria, all of Tyler's accusations against me today, you brainwashed him. You used my charity work to deceive and seduce a young man, badmouthing me while playing the victim. You're worse than an animal. After venting my emotions, I slapped Victoria without hesitation. The slap immediately drew everyone's attention. Tyler ran forward, ready to fight me. How dare you hit my wife? This isn't over. And Sarah, as always, firmly protected me, looking fierce. Nobody touches my boyfriend. Seeing Tyler's hostile attitude toward me, Victoria didn't get angry. Instead, she slapped Tyler back. This is all your fault, you incompetent fool. Why couldn't you just wait quietly for me to have the baby? Why cause trouble here? She pointed at Tyler, furious. If you hadn't crashed Marcus's birthday party, I wouldn't have had to show myself today. Tyler held his cheek in shock. Wife, you hit me? You hit me for this man? What do you mean? Didn't you say he was evil and refused to divorce? Didn't you promise to marry me after the divorce? Tyler's face paled, still unable to believe Victoria's harsh treatment. If you hadn't disappeared for 2 months, ignoring all my messages, thinking this evil man was controlling you, why would I come force him to divorce today? I did this for you, for our baby. How can you blame me? Besides, if you weren't being controlled by him, unable to appear, why didn't you reply to any of my messages? Sarah and I exchanged glances as everyone suddenly understood. It seemed Tyler's crazy, brainless behavior today had ruined Victoria's plans. Tyler thought showing up with an ultrasound would smoothly lead to marriage with Victoria. But he'd been deceived too. He had no idea Victoria had faked her death, being played by her, thinking getting her pregnant meant marrying into wealth. Victoria, unable to save face, could only vent on Tyler. Useless fool, get lost. Tyler refused to leave, grabbing Victoria for an explanation. Watching this farce, I felt both pity and anger toward Tyler. Tyler, can't you see this woman yet? She's completely deceived you. Her not replying shows she didn't want to appear. You just wishfully thought getting her pregnant meant marriage. Moreover, my marriage to her ended when I received her death certificate. She was single when she approached you. At this point, my disgust for Victoria had become physically repulsive. Seeing that face now only made me want to vomit. Yet she told you she was married and couldn't divorce me, meaning she never intended to take responsibility for you. She just saw you as young and gullible to play with. My words left Tyler ashen-faced. Victoria couldn't be bothered explaining to Tyler. She grabbed his hair, continuously blaming him. You ruined a perfectly good situation by causing trouble. I'll abort this baby. You're such a player, who knows what diseases you have. Marry into my family? Keep dreaming. She slapped Tyler repeatedly until he fell to the ground, then suddenly approached me with loyalty. Marcus, you see? I have no feelings for him. It was just playing around. These 3 years, I've always thought of you, always planning how to return to your side. These words not only disgusted me but infuriated Sarah. She grabbed Victoria. What's a dead person babbling about here? Stop performing your deep love. If you really loved Marcus, you wouldn't have abandoned him alone like this. Sarah's expression was full of heartache for me. After you left, I accompanied him through his lowest point. I always worried I couldn't compare to your place in his heart. Indeed, if not for Sarah's warmth and persistence moving me, I might have mourned Victoria forever. Now I realized how foolish I'd been. And Sarah finally felt relieved today. But seeing you're such an irresponsible, despicable person, I'm reassured. I stood beside Sarah, shoulder to shoulder. Victoria, you're not worth even Sarah's little finger. I suggest you stop embarrassing yourself here and find somewhere to hide. When this blows up, your unfinished business will still find you. Victoria knew appearing today wasn't wise. But Tyler's actions forced her to show herself. Perhaps she thought sweet-talking me would smooth things over. But people must ultimately pay for their actions. Though Victoria's eyes were full of reluctance toward me, seeing everyone recording her with their phones, she had no choice but to run. However, Tyler grabbed her leg, clutching his stomach. You witch, you're carrying my child, you can't leave. I noticed blood flowing from Tyler's forehead. With a life at stake, I immediately called 911. Victoria desperately kicked Tyler trying to escape, but everyone stopped her violence. In the end, she not only failed to escape but waited for both ambulance and police cars. Watching Tyler loaded into the ambulance and Victoria unceremoniously pushed into the police car. I hugged Sarah with emotion. This birthday has been quite spectacular. Sarah buried herself in my arms, comforting me. At least we uncovered a truth together today. With no more burdens in your heart, we can happily embrace our future. Hearing this, I felt deeply moved. Soon, the hospital reported results. Tyler had head trauma and was unconscious. Victoria was detained for assault. Along with it, her fake death made headlines and trending topics. Victoria's parents suddenly became healthy, mobile individuals. They rushed to the police station with lawyers and money, trying to bail Victoria out. Only then did I learn Victoria's parents had always been her accomplices. When Victoria embezzled all the company's cash to avoid debts by faking death. After her death, her parents acted heartbroken, earning my sympathy. Under their deception and moral pressure, I gave up inheritance rights, taking nothing of Victoria's. Fortunately, this decision meant I wasn't affected by Victoria's debts. Those massive debts and the failing company became the shareholders' problem. Now, with Victoria resurrected, her past misdeeds were exposed. The shareholders she'd screwed over came looking for payback. They blocked Victoria's parents at the police station, demanding repayment. You trash ruined me. I sold houses and cars to pay debts while she lived freely, even seducing college students. This scum must go to prison, but even if she rots there, she must repay the money. From the hospital, Tyler sent me an apology letter. He now understood that all these years, I had indeed been his sponsor. That money had nothing to do with Victoria. He also admitted he'd learned I had a wealthy wife, so he'd deliberately come to this city to approach Victoria. But he hadn't known Victoria was already dead by then. He thought he'd found a sugar mama and could stop working hard, so he stopped studying seriously. His vanity and greed had destroyed him. He sincerely apologized and stated, "I won't let Victoria get away with this. I'll take her to court and hold her accountable. The money you've sponsored me over the years, I'll work hard to pay it all back as soon as possible." Sarah and I had Tyler sign an IOU. His actions couldn't be simply forgiven. He needed to learn his lesson to truly reform. I next saw Victoria at her public trial. Victoria, as the defendant, saw me as a witness. Her eyes reddened as she involuntarily called out, "Honey, please forgive me. I know I've wronged you most. Can you give me a chance?" The judge called for order. I coldly told her again, "Our marriage ended long ago. I'm here today to uphold justice, to make you pay for your actions." Victoria's parents nearly knelt begging me to speak favorably for her. But looking at these people who'd conspired to deceive me, I felt only deep revulsion. Ultimately, Victoria was sentenced to 20 years in prison. The debts she tried to escape finally fell on her and her parents. Walking out of the courthouse into the sunlight, I smiled genuinely. Sarah asked what I was smiling about. I hugged her. "You know, I almost want to thank Victoria. If she hadn't died back then, how would I have focused on developing my career, and how would I have met you?" But Sarah said, "Given her character, even without faking death, she would have eventually cheated and deceived you. Your separation was always inevitable." She hugged me, her face full of affection. "As for the right person, sooner or later, we always meet." I held her close, smiling happily. The end.